We're coming to the end of our course and it's time to start wrapping things up. Thought we'd do a quick review over the content that we covered throughout this course. We kicked things off with an equipment meet and greet, getting really familiar with the equipment that we are going to be working with. So we covered what this equipment physically looked like and things like the link lights and what they represented. And we got into how to console into these devices so we could start programming them. We took a look at the boot process and everything that routers and switches go through during the boot process, as well as actually consoled into it during the boot process so we could see what was happening. We got into the command line structure so we could really understand what these commands really were doing for us. And then we actually started connecting devices to that. And then we wanted to really understand how to navigate the Cisco IOS, how to get in and out of different modes, and how to really work with this Cisco IOS. We got into how to find help with the Cisco IOS. We talked about the show commands and different show commands we might use and how they help us out. We got into the command line history and how we could use it as a shortcut and some other shortcuts to help us navigate through the Cisco IOS. Then we started getting into some general configurations that we would want to do on these different devices. Things like configuring the host name, the clock, passwords, management interfaces, setting up SSH, different privilege levels, and also creating banners for our devices. Of course, all of those are different configs, and we want to make sure that we save those configs, and we also talked about different ways to manage the config files. We got into saving configs, capturing configs, resetting devices, resetting the configs on the device, going through the initial configuration dialog. We talked about recovering from lost passwords. I talked about how I make changes. We got into changing the boot loading file, and then also how to utilize one of these routers as a TFTP server. Then we got into the ports and how to start configuring ports on the device. We got into configuring switch ports and routed ports on both a switch and also a router. We got into dual stack, where we're doing both IP version 4 and IP version 6. We got into troubleshooting some interfaces. We got into resetting ports. We talked about CDP and LLDP and loopback configurations. And then we took all of this and then started applying it to how to configure a network, how to set up a network. And so we started configuring a network so we could apply these skills to an actual network. We got into actually laying out a whole IP address schema for our network and then started applying it as we configured the different equipment. And then how to go through that troubleshooting process when we run into issues. And ultimately, now you can actually set up a whole business network from the ground up. And although there are some more advanced skills to apply to this and maybe different ways that we want to do some configurations, you've got the basics now, that great foundational knowledge that you can build off of in the future.